Hi guys, my name is Ivan Ngure, and today I'm going to be teaching you on how to sign your artwork. Behind me are some of my old paintings. When you're signing a painting, you sign it with a color that is within your palette. But how do you sign a sculpture or a collage or a mosaic? So today I'm going to be sharing with you how you can sign your 3D projects in a unique way that stands out. But guys, even before we get to that, why do you need to sign your artwork? I'll give you several reasons. The first rule is that you need to get a consistent way to sign your artwork. So if you're going to be signing your artwork as Ivan Ngure, stick to that. Stick to a certain style of writing your sign and stick with it and make it legible. Some of the advantages of signing your artwork is because right now we live in a digital world where somebody will Google search your name so that they can see what you're doing on your website, on your social media. So if your sign is not clear, then you're going to miss out on some clients. Sometimes you can sell your artwork at a gallery, and as it is the case, most galleries will not share their artist information with the collector or the art buyer. But if you've signed your artwork clearly, then the buyer can be able to read and follow up with you if they really want to connect with the actual creator of that artwork. So that's one of the most important things, that you market yourself. And also there is that record that people can see your artwork. If it's collected in a public place, then they can be able to clearly see who the artist is. So today I'm going to be sharing you several techniques that you're going to be using to sign your 3D pieces, be it a sculpture or a collage. And this will be scratching by use of nitric acid, burning, or letter stamping. So to learn more, stay tuned. Scratching is by far the easiest method to sign your sculpture or collage. So in this case, I'm going to be using a compass from the geometric set, and you're just going to scratch as you write your name, as you will write it on paper, but you have to have a tough hand so that it doesn't skid, and this will leave an indelible mark of your signature. Remember also, you can use any other sharp object like a needle or a nail, any object that you're comfortable with. Next up is perforating, or gonga gonga as I call it. So in this case, I'm going to be using a sheet of aluminum, a nail, pencil, and a hammer. So first start by writing the name that you want to sign, and then we are now going to start punching holes, small holes, using the nail along those lines. So this one you have to be patient enough. It's similar to pointillism, but now we are manually engraving the name. So just follow it on the line until you complete the name. This also leaves a very permanent mark, and it's also a unique way of making a signature on your sculpture. Letter stamping is fun, but then I wouldn't advise it for you to be signing artwork. Maybe you can use it to sign merchandise, that is, that you constantly create and you duplicate, because then this one anybody can do it and anybody can forge your signature. But anyway, if you want to use it in your artwork, then it's okay. So begin by selecting the letters that you would like to sign, depending on the name that you want to sign. And then once you have all the letters, arrange them in the order that you want to sign them. And then you have to have a hard surface, like a marble in this case, and then you stamp your letters. Also ensure that you're stamping them in a straight line so that you have a neat finished piece. This also you can use in stamping jewelry. So if you are a jeweler and you make some metal pieces, and some clients might request you to sign maybe their year of birth or their name, etc, etc. So there you have it. Nitric acid is another brilliant option to sign your artworks, but in this case I'm going to be using water just to demonstrate. But if you're using the real nitric acid, make sure to have gloves on, because nitric acid is very corrosive. So begin by waxing your surface. In this case, it's an aluminum sheet. And once you've done that, you want to use a sharp object like a nail. Just gently scratch your name on top of the thin layer of wax. And make sure you don't peel the whole piece. So that's why we say a very thin layer of wax. And it's also best to do it when the wax has not dried completely. It's a little bit warm. And then once that is done, you're going to pick a very small portion of nitric acid and you're going to pour it in the grooves that you've scratched. Let it sit for 5 minutes or less, depending on how deep you want it to go, and then you melt the wax, and that's done. And finally, we have burning. So once you've written down the name that you want to fire engrave on a piece of wood, you're going to burn your piece of metal rod that is insulated with a wooden handle until it's red hot. And then once it's done, we're going to start transferring the heat onto the piece of wood. So gently press it onto the wood, making small perforations. And you can see it's burning and we have some black spots that will remain indelible. And once your rod becomes cold, then you repeat the process of burning and transferring the heat onto the wood. And remember, you can also use this technique to create artwork. We have artists that use it to create portraits and other pieces of artworks. And remember also, if you have a soldering iron, that also can be another option. And instead of using a gas burner like I am doing and wasting a lot of heat, you can optionally use a torch or a Bunsen burner. That's better because the heat will be transferred just to one spot. Yeah, and that's how you do a fire engraving on wood. Did you know that the medieval artists never signed their artworks because they did not want to be associated with their artworks? But when the Renaissance artists like Michelangelo started creating their pieces, they wanted to be associated with their artworks. And I think in the contemporary world that we live, we artists want to be associated with our artworks. Well guys, I hope you learned something today about signing your artwork, and my hope is that you will employ and use some of the techniques that I used to demonstrate today to improve your art experience. Until next time, bye bye.